For most people who are now pleasers, their childhoods were filled with, well, conflict, some friction, some disruption. And as children, they learned how to avoid conflict to sort of avoid that friction and disruption. Later on as adults, they continued to practice avoiding conflict, often to the detriment of their passions, their desires, and even their relationships. So I have a question. Do you know this person? Hi, my name is Rick Higgins, and today's vlog, we are going to dive into life coaching, and specifically, we're going to talk about the difference between a pleaser and being pleasing. Now, let's define a pleaser first. The list is long. A pleaser, well, they rationalize, compromise, second guess, play it safe, and avoid confrontation. And as a result of this, all of their passions, all of their desires, all of their self-worth just seems to be put on the back burner, seems to fade into the distance. And the more and more you become a pleaser and stay a pleaser, the harder it is to stop being a pleaser. Which means that all of those passions, all of those things, all of those desires that actually make up each individual one of us, well, they just seem that much farther away as well. Now, I have an admission to make. I am a recovering pleaser myself. I have done that for many, many years, and something around the age of 60 seems to have switched me, but I have been, and I am learning how to be pleasing. And believe me, there is quite a difference between the two. Okay, so you're a pleaser and you want to switch over to being pleasing. Well, how do you do that? It seems so far away. Well, the simple advice is just create a new context. Now, I'm going to give you an example and you tell me if you can hear the difference. A pleaser goes to the grocery store with a list from his partner that says, get this brand of chicken stock. And he goes there and lo and behold, they're out of that brand. Now, what does a pleaser do? Well, he panics, he gets maybe some other brand, but in his head, the dialogue that is going on is, how can I get out of this alive? How can I make this work? Because she's going to be disappointed. I want to make sure that everything I do makes her happy. Now, this is not about the other person, by the way. This is just the noised game that goes on inside one's head. A pleaser wants to please. Like a little puppy, they just want to pat on the head and an attaboy, and that's kind of what drives them. Now, let's say you're pleasing. Go to the same store, same list. They're out of that brand of chicken stock. You have choices because your mind is now thinking, well, maybe I can get a different brand or get something else because I think I did some research and this works pretty well too. Or why don't I get a whole bunch of other stuff over here and maybe make up some shrimp scampi? Because that could be a great alternative. Now, the mindset is, as you are going home, you are either thinking, I'm going to disappoint someone, or, hey, I tried to really make you happy and find an alternative, and if this doesn't work, I got something great that I think you're gonna love. Do you hear the difference between the two? I'll give you another example. While you're out at that grocery store, you see a big flower display. Now, how do you look at those and think? Do you look at them and go, oh, I think they would love to see those. Those would really make her happy. She can cut them up and put them on the table. I think she would really love that. Or do you look at those flowers and go, I should get those because I'm gonna put a little something extra in the bank just in case I don't bring the chicken stock home next week. And I gotta point out all the good things I've actually done. So again, it's the mindset. Are you trying to make somebody happy? Or are you trying to make yourself less unhappy? Because honestly, that is the biggest difference between pleasing and being a pleaser. Being a pleaser is all about you. It's all about staying out of trouble. It's all about avoiding conflict, avoiding a connection. And being pleasing is all about the other person and everyone else, making them happy, making their lives a little better, and then that just feeds back to you. So one side is happy, one side is just being protective and scared. Now I'm going to interrupt this whole vlog for 1 second to throw in an advertisement because this vlog is brought to you, well, by me. The reason I am doing life coaching is I am actually a life coach. By that I mean I can help people, specifically men of a certain age, with relationships, life changes, just sort of helping determine where a man wants to be. And we're going to get into that in a little bit. But basically, if you think you'd be interested in learning more about what life coaching is, or even more specifically, if you would be interested in talking to me about it, go to my website, rickhiggins.com, and look in the upper, well, if you're on a laptop, it's in the upper corner. If it's on a mobile phone, I don't know where it is, but find Life Coaching for Men, hit Overview, and then there are 3 sections in there for relationships, the perfect man, and life changes, and see if any of those things make sense to you. But for now, back to the vlog. I was doing some research for this video and a lot of life coaching videos, and what I came across, frankly, bothered me. Scared me a little bit, mostly bothered me, and it all had to do with masculinity. A lot of these sites bill themselves as, learn to be an alpha male, alpha, male, and it's just, by the way, masculinity has nothing to do with whether you're the alpha dog or not. Nothing to do with it. Being a pleaser versus pleasing has nothing to do with your being an alpha male. In fact, quite the opposite I would pose to be true. Now, true masculinity is nothing more than confidence. It is confidence in yourself. It is a desire to be pleasing and giving to others. That is masculinity. Being a pleaser can be masked by being an alpha dog. Because if you can't avoid the conflict, if you can't just not go home without worrying about that chicken stock being the wrong thing, you react in a completely opposite extreme way and go, haha, I am an alpha dog, you will take the stock that I give you. That's not being pleasing either. That is just still avoiding conflict and hiding the fact that it's all about you. So masculinity, the whole alpha, beta, wherever you want to fall on that syndrome line, has nothing to do with this. Absolutely nothing. What it does have to do with is whether your mindset is outwardly focused or inwardly focused, whether it's about happiness and positivity or whether it's about fear. So you're still thinking of a change, but I want you to remember something. This new normal that you are trying to achieve, this being pleasing, remember that there are at least 2 of you, probably more, in this paradigm. Meaning if you are trying to be pleasing to your partner or to your family or to a friend or to whoever it is that you want to be pleasing to, remember now you're trying to switch your mindset from what is good for you to what is good for them and start thinking of them. This might be a big switch for them. If you were the kind of person who brought the chicken stock home in fear every day, well, maybe they're not going to understand what's going on. And here is a great opportunity for you to use that magic word, communicate. And by that, I mean, talk to them about what you're feeling. Talk to them about where you see yourself and where you want to be. It's a great conversation to have because it in itself is pleasing, because you are telling the other person or persons that you care about them, that you want to make a change, that you want to do something better, to honestly make them happy rather than just trying to serve their needs as best as you think they need to be. By having that conversation, you are actually pleasing them very much. So what have we learned today, ladies and gentlemen, and most pointedly to the gentlemen, although I think this probably actually will affect women a lot too. But I digress. What we learned today is that the difference between a pleaser and a pleasing is completely what is between your ears, head, mind. It is the way you think about life. It is about who you are thinking about. So stop thinking only of yourself and how to avoid conflict and how to stay out of trouble, and look at things as opportunities to make someone happy. Yeah, even if they're allergic to shrimp and you brought shrimp scampi home, you can have a good laugh, just make sure they don't eat it. If you bring home the wrong brand of chicken stock, well, maybe it's a better brand, maybe it's not, but still you might get a good story out of it. It's not the end of the freaking world. What you gotta do is just think positively, think in terms of other people, and with that, be safe, be healthy, be happy, and we'll talk to you real soon.